Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the third day of July, 2025. It is Thursday of the 14th week of the year, the 14th week in Ordinary Time. It is also today the feast of St. Thomas the Apostle. Doubting Thomas, as he is sometimes called, but erroneously called that because he was not doubting to disbelieve. He was doubting to be able to find a way to understand all that had happened. The apostles themselves are doubting left and right. And why does Thomas get singled out? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, they doubt. They see, but they don't believe. They say Jesus appears to them on the mountain before his ascension, and they worship, and yet they doubt. Everybody doubts all the time. But as one last time here from Arizona before heading back to the east, again, a pretty nice day today. Nice puffy clouds. Storms came through last night, but it's a little bit better now. And there's Camelback right behind me over there. Plus the car I have to drive back to the airport. Anyway, so the readings for today, just a generic one that says that we stand upon the shoulders of the apostles from the letter to the Ephesians. So that's kind of nice. Thomas is mentioned several times, within the New Testament, within the Gospels. But the one that gets the most notice is the one from John, in which again he doubts. He is not with the apostles. It's never said why he's not with the apostles. Is he too afraid? Has he given up? Has he gone back to wherever it was that he came from? It never says that, but all of a sudden, when they tell him that they have seen the Lord, basically Thomas says, okay, but I want to see his hand marks, I want to see his nails. And there is nothing wrong with that in many ways, because again, this was his friend who he saw he didn't see crucified, he was hiding with everybody else, but who died, again, and was buried. And to have such an amazing thing happen, which again, everyone else has trouble believing, is not going to be something that many people just accept, instantly. Maybe there has to be some kind of demonstration of this. Maybe there has to be some kind of awareness that yes, Jesus is indeed alive, that Christ has indeed risen. It isn't necessarily, that he again walks away from everything and doesn't want to have any part in it. But it is the idea that again, at times we need that assurance, again, that God knows what God is doing. Faith can do that. Blessed are those who have believed and not seen. It is true, and that is where we are, again, in many ways. But again, if you say that you love somebody and never express love, it really is a hollow kind of love. It does not accomplish anything. It does not do what it is supposed to do. There needs to be demonstrations, again, of Christ's victory. There needs to be demonstrations and assurances that God is in control. There needs to be assurances all the time, again, that our God is the God of gods, that our God is Wonder Counselor, God forever, Prince of Peace, again, King forever. These things are not necessarily signs of doubt. They are not signs of a doubt that destroys. They're not signs of a doubt that becomes impossible for God to work with. Remember, we are in the story of Abraham, the rest of this week, in which Abraham again doubts God about 36 times in the book of Genesis, and yet God does not give up on God. God does not give up on Abraham, and Abraham does not give up on God. Thomas is following in that tradition of Abraham. Thomas is following in the tradition of his ancestors, needing, again, some kind of demonstration of God's love for us. And it is given to him. It is given to him, again, without having to do anything. Again, Jesus scolds him and whatever it is. But again, it's like this thing, where Jesus has to get the last word, I guess, in many ways. But Thomas finds faith. He finds hope. He finds, again, a belief that perhaps is stronger than even the apostles themselves, who have witnessed Christ appearing and disappearing in their midst, all this other time. They never embrace him. They never touch him. Thomas is the one who does. And because of that great act, of wanting to be close and near his friend, Thomas's faith, is assured. Thomas's faith is grounded. And Thomas, again, reinforces his label and his title as an apostle. From Phoenix in Scottsdale, may the Lord give you peace, St. Francis and people of God. May you have a wonderful day.